would like to start this? Anyone?
I can, Prabhu. Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Please proceed.
Okay. Om Agyana Timirandeshya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with a torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadara, Srivasa, and all others in the line of devotion. Maha means great and mantra means sacred chant of deliverance. Of all mantras in the Vedas, one is called the Maha Mantra or Great Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The words Hare, pronounced Hare, Krishna, pronounced Krishna, and Rama rhymes with Rama are Sanskrit words. Hare is an address to God's energy known as Radha, and Krishna is name of God, meaning who is attractive to everyone. Rama means one who gives pleasure and enjoys life. When chanted, the Maha Mantra is a petition to God. O Krishna, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service.
Thank you. So today's class is okay. Who would like to read this?
I will go, sir.
Okay.
Devaki Nandana Krishno Gita Patena Tushanti Yata Navedaya Danena Yachna Tirtha Vridabhrit. The son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied with one's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows as much as is satisfied with the devotional recitation of the Gita.
Thank you. So we pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the right and Nityananda Prabhu on the left. They are very merciful and they are helping us all in our spiritual life, and they wish us very much to go back to the spiritual world. So they came, Krishna and Balaram came 500 years ago to give us the secret about chanting the holy name, and also the secret about the scriptures that we have, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charamita was written, and this is what actually is Krishna, Mahaprabhu's teachings and pastimes. So if you have the time, you read Bhagavad Gita. If you want, you can read Chaitanya Charamita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Both are very, very, very good. So we must chant the normal mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We also take the blessings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. You see, Prabhupada, he was the disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was a very famous preacher in India at that time, preaching Krishna consciousness, and he had many centers. So what happened is, after he passed away, his Guru Maharaj passed away, all his disciples all took one temple, and the whole organization broke up. Then when Prabhupada went to New York and established started being successful in preaching about Krishna, he already was getting a few centers. You know, his disciples were opening new centers under his instruction. So then he decided that he don't want the same problem to happen when he leaves the body, where all his disciples will take one body, one temple. He wanted the ISKCON to remain as an organization. So then he made a committee, and he called them the GBC, which is the Governing Body Commissioners. That means that there is nobody who owns ISKCON. It's owned by it's a separate entity, and there are board members in it, and they are organizing the whole thing. So in that way, Prabhupada did do that, and when Prabhupada left the world, the GBC is still in charge of the whole ISKCON organization all over the world. So in this way, there was no breakup of ISKCON. ISKCON is united under a same organization. All the centers around the world, which are already now a few thousand, they are all under the umbrella of this organization. In this way, as they say, when we are together, we will progress nicely, right? So Prabhupada did this one very good thing, and so there is no breakup of the organization. Okay, who would like to read this? Gita Mahatmya. Amy?
Can Prabhu.
Can?
Can.
You can do yourself, or you want my help?
I want your guidance, Prabhu.
Samsara Sagaram Goram
Samsara Sagaram Goram
Tatum Ichati Yo Nara
Tartum Ichati Yo Nara
Gita Navam Samsatya
Gita Navam Samasatya
Param Yati Sukhena Sa.
Param Yati Sukhena Sa. A person who wants to cross over the ghastly ocean of material suffering can do so very easily by taking shelter of the boat of the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you. So, if you want to cross over from this material world to the spiritual world, you can do so very easily by taking shelter of the Bhagavad Gita. This is like a boat. When you die, you will sit on the boat and you will cross. So basically, actually, you are already crossing. So then when you die, you have already reached the spiritual world. So in this way, the Bhagavad Gita is the most important book in the whole universe. No other book can do this for you. The other religions all promise you heavenly planets. None of them are promising you actually the spiritual world. They think you are going to the spiritual world, but actually they are only going to the heavenly planet. That is the problem. So Bhagavad Gita is the only one that can actually bring you across. So if you are wanting to be helpful to any of your friends, relatives, or anybody in the world, you should actually also try and get everyone to get Bhagavad Gita and also read. Okay. So today is the yoga of the Supreme Person. So it's Krishna is speaking now about himself. Okay, who would like to read this? Volunteer? Raji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhava Mulam Adha Sakam Asvataham Rahur Avyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Vid. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Thank you.
Thank you. So Krishna is talking now about the Vedas. The Vedas are the source of information from the time the world was created. After that, the Puranas came. And after the Puranas, Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita, which is the conclusion of all the Vedas and the Puranas. Bhagavad Gita is the conclusion. Bhagavatam is the conclusion of the Vedas. Bhagavad Gita is the conclusion of all the Vedas and the Puranas. Okay. So here Krishna is saying there is an imperishable banyan tree. You know, banyan tree is auspicious, right? So he said there's an imperishable that has its roots upward and its branches downward, and the leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Example, you see this mountain here. So then you can see the mountain is going up and coming down. But if you see the reflection, what you will think that the mountain is going down and coming up. Correct? So we are in this reflection of material world. The real world is a reflection. The material world is a reflection of the real world. So we are in this reflected world. But there is one thing in this reflected world that is real. And these are the Vedic hymns, the Vedas. So in the Vedas is the real thing in the illusory world that we live in. If we can catch hold of these Vedas and understand these Vedas, we can understand this spiritual world. You got the idea? So here Brahma was born from Lord Vishnu and the material world was created. Somehow or another, if we catch hold of these Vedic hymns, we can actually reach the spiritual world. That is Krishna. So far, so good. This verse is a bit, bit funny, but when we explain to you, I hope that you understand. So here we have a queen. One day the queen lost a monkey came and stole the jewelry, her favorite necklace. And the necklace was given to her by her husband and she was very fond of it. So now the necklace is worth maybe say 500,000 ringgit. Example, I just give you one. Okay, whatever. And then she told everyone, whoever can get me this necklace, I will give a reward of 500,000 ringgit. You see, she is very clever. she thought that if she gives a reward less, I give only 100,000 ringgit, the person who gets this necklace will say, why should I give this queen back and get 100,000? I can maybe sell a higher price, you know. So that's why she said, I'm better give the full value of the necklace as the reward. Because for her, the necklace is not just a necklace. It has a sentimental value of her husband giving her a necklace. So she definitely is very fond of it. So everyone in the country went looking around. And they went looking around. And then these people saw a necklace in the pond. And then they dived in. And then they could not get the necklace. And then another one dived in, could not get the necklace. But when coming out, they see the necklace is in the pond. But then when they dive in, they can't get the necklace. So then they are so astonished. What is happening? Why can't we get the necklace? When the water is still, we can see the necklace. But when we dive in, we can't get the necklace. So then one Babaji was sitting there. And he was looking at everything. So then they went to him and said, Babaji, can you please explain to us? And then they explained it. He said, you know where the necklace is in the lake? Yes. There's a tree hanging over the lake. If you look up at the tree, you will find what you're looking for. Because what did the monkey went and he had hanged the necklace on the tree which is overhanging the lake. So people saw the necklace reflection and they went for it. But actually, if they had looked up, they would have found the actual necklace. So when they looked up, they got the necklace and they got their reward. So the answer is that we are looking at the material world. It is there, the jewels are there, you know, but it's a reflection. It's not really in this material world. What is in the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So we should look up to the scriptures and look at the spiritual world and understand that that is the place where you can get the real gems. Okay? That's why this Babaji don't care for the necklace. For him, money is not important. So he told them, you go and see up. Okay, who would like to read this?
I can go, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I think I need your guidance for this, Prabhu.
Okay, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sariram Yat Apvapnoti.
Sariram Yap Apnoti.
Avapnoti.
Avapnoti.
Yachapi Ukramati Swara.
Yapchapi Ukramti Swara. Ukramati Swara.
Swara, yeah. Grit Vaitani Samyati.
Grivaitani Samyati.
Grit Vaitani Samyati.
Grit Vaitani Samyati.
Vajur Gandam Ivasayat.
Yajur Gandam Iwashayat.
It's not Yajur, it's Vayur.
Vayur.
Yeah, Vayur Gandam Ivasayat.
Vayur Ganda Iwashayat.
Rotram Chaksu.
Choktaram Saksur.
Saparsanam.
Sarpasanam.
Sorry. Srotam Chaksur.
Sotram Chaksur.
Prasanam Cha.
Rasanam Cha.
Rasanam Gir.
Rasanam Gir.
Ranam Evacha.
Rasanam Gir Evacha.
Adistaya Manaschayam.
Adistaya Manaschayam.
Visayan Upasevate.
Visvaya Upasevate. The living entity in this material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aroma. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. The living entity thus takes another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular sense of object.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So a living entity in the material world carries his different conception of life from one body to another, as the air carries the aroma. So what is that? What is the different conceptions of life from that he's carrying? He's carrying the subtle body, as the air carries the aroma. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. So the soul brings with him the subtle body, and because of the consciousness of the subtle body, he comes back to this material world and gets the particular type of body. Thus, he quits to take another. The living entity thus takes a gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped around the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. So, if a person can actually also take an animal body, a person can take a human body. Also, a person can also take a deva body. So basically, your subtle consciousness will bring you to another body. You can see here the soul, the intelligence, the mind, and the ego is the subtle body. And then you have a gross body. The gross body at the end of your life, you give up, but you bring with you your subtle body to your next life. So far, so good, huh? Okay, who want to read this? Ashmini, you want to do?
Prabhu, yes, Prabhu, can Prabhu.
Yeah, carry on.
I try because it's quite long. I try. Yada atyagatam tejo jagat vasayate kilam yachandramasi yachatnau tat tejo vidhi mamakam gam avyasya cha bhutani dharayamyaham ojasa pushnami chau sadih sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Thanks, Prabhu.
Thank you. So basically, Krishna is now speaking that the sun is coming to dispel the darkness. In the morning, the sun comes and the darkness go. The sun comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire also comes from me. So Krishna says that my inferior energy is giving up all this light. And I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. Because of my energy, the planets, they follow a certain path and they stay in orbit. And I can also become the moon and supply the juice of all life to all vegetables. Basically, he says my inferior energy under the direction of Maya Devi, I am the one who gets everything done and moving. Because you know what's the title of today's chapter? Can anyone again tell me?
The yoga of the Supreme Person.
Yeah, so it's the yoga of the Supreme Person. So Krishna is speaking about himself, what he does. Okay, who would like to read this?
I will go, sir.
Yeah.
I need your help, sir.
Okay. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva
Aham Vaishnavaro Bhutva
Praninam Deham Asrita
Praninam Deham Asrita
Pranapana Samayukta
Pranapana Samayukta
Pachami Anam Chaturvidham.
Pachami Anam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of the digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuff.
So Krishna says that the digestive power in the stomach, you know, your stomach is so powerful, the enzymes are so powerful, it can even dissolve metal. He says, I am the fire. If the stomach cannot digest the food, how you expect your body to get the nourishment? He says, because of me, this is happening. Okay, who would like to read this?
I'll go, Prabhu.
Yeah, Ken.
I need your help, Prabhu.
Okay. Sarvasya chaham hirdi sanisvito
Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivistu
mata smriti janam
mata smritir janam
apohan cha
apohanam cha
veda cha sarve aham eva
vedascha sarvar aham eva
vedo vedanta krit vedavid
vedo vedanta krit vedavid
eva chaham.
eva chaham. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I'm to be known. Indeed, I'm the compiler of Vedanta, and I'm the knower of the Vedas. Thank you.
Thank you. So he says that I'm seated in everyone's heart as the super soul. And from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I can actually, you see, you cannot remember your past life. So he makes you forget your past life. Right? And if whatever you can remember, it's also by the mercy of the Lord. And the knowledge also is given from the Vedas to you. So basically, you should read the scriptures and get the knowledge. And then he says, I'm the one who is the author of the Vedas, and I know everything about the Vedas. So basically, Krishna is saying that he is all-knowing, and that we should just listen to him and follow what he says, because he's all-knowing. If someone is knowing everything, we should go to him, and whatever he says, we should accept as truth and just follow. Correct? So Krishna is telling about himself. Okay, who would like to read this? Giridhari, you want to do?
Can, sir?
Yeah.
Yo mam evam asammudo janati purushottamam sa sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of the Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata.
Thank you. So whoever knows me as the Supreme Lord, and you don't doubt. So Krishna has spoken the words previously. What we say, he says that I am know of everything. So you know me as the Supreme Lord without doubting. If you understand that, that means you know everything. You know my supremeness, and you will get the knowledge, and you will know everything. He therefore engages in full devotional service to me, because the person who understands that by having devotional service to the Lord, it means you do devotion with service, not just devotion without service. You can do this to the Lord, then actually you have perfected your life. Okay, who would like to read this?
Hare Krishna, I will go, Prabhu.
Yeah, please.
Please guide me.
Iti guya
Iti guya
tamam shastram
tamam shastram
idam uktam
idam uktam
maya naga
maya naga
etad budva
etad budva
buddhi mam syat
buddhi mansyat
krita krityas
krita krityas
Bharata.
cha bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
So Krishna is saying that the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture, what is the most confidential part? This is the most confidential part. So if I am now disclosing it. How is he disclosing? In the Bhagavad Gita. Whoever understands this, that means you understand the Bhagavad Gita, will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So this again is talking about the very, very high level of our Bhagavad Gita. Okay, how important Bhagavad Gita is. So this is a short chapter. So detachment is the imperishable banyan tree. Banyan tree is a very strong tree, but it can be cut with the weapon of detachment. That means you don't get entangled in the illusion. You understand that the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. And then the transmigration is told to in this. As the air carries aroma, so your subtle body brings you to the next body. Krishna as the maintainer. Krishna is the splendor of the sun, moon, and fire. Everything works because of him. Krishna energy maintains planets on orbits. As moon, Krishna supplies juice of life to vegetables. The moonlight is the one at night that lets the plants to grow. The sunlight produces the food, and then the night, the moonlight is there, and the food is used to grow. Just like we eat the food, and then the food nourishes us, and if we are actually young, we will grow. Otherwise, we just maintain our body. So Krishna is like the fire of digestion. The energy all comes from him. Krishna gives the remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And he is also the compiler and the knower of the Vedas. So summary of the Vedas is knowing Krishna is as the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the supreme knowledge. Engage in full devotional service. And the most confidential part of the Vedas, the wise endeavor to be perfect. So in this way, what happened is your life will become perfect. So who would like to read this? Volunteer?
I can go, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I'll need you to guide me on this, Prabhu.
Okay. Samatava
Sarma Tava
Tatatam Vishnu
Atatam Vishnur
Vishmartavyao
Vishmartavyao
Na Chatuchit
Na Jatutit
Sarve Vidi
Sarve Vidhi
Sedasyur Etayor Eva
Nisya Daha Sayur Etayur Eva
Kinkaraha.
Indraha. One should always remember Vishnu and never forget him. All injunctions and prohibitions are based upon two principles.
Okay. This is in the Bhakti Rasa Nectar of Devotion. One should always remember Vishnu. Or we can also say one should always remember Krishna and never forget him. All injunctions and prohibitions are based upon these two principles. That means you should always remember Krishna and you understand what is dharmic life, and anything not supposed to do, you won't do if you always remember Krishna. And all the things that you're supposed to do, you will do if you remember Krishna. Okay? There's another saying. If Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you. If Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. Duryodhana, Krishna wanted to kill. No one could save him. And Pandavas, Krishna wanted to save. No one could kill. So that's how powerful Krishna is. We get the mercy of Krishna, we will be saved. So we're talking now about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was born in a devotee family. And he used to go preaching. He took some, one day he met his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then his spiritual master convinced him to become Krishna conscious. So he became Krishna conscious devotee. And then one day he became a sannyasi. And then he went to one day to the office of Jaluduta. This is the ship Jaluduta. And he asked for a ticket. And the lady at first who's the owner, the lady's husband was the owner of the company, but the husband passed away. So the lady is the owner now of the ship. So if you have one ship, you can actually live a very comfortable life, because you go to one port, load all the cargoes and offload in another port. You don't have to have a big shipping company. You even just one ship is a lot of money. So anyway, so then at first the lady said, no, you cannot, I cannot give you, because you are like my father. If I give you the ticket, you might die on the journey or you might die in America. So I cannot take the sin. Then he was very sad. Then after that he left the office. Then he went back in again. He said, you say I'm your father? Yes. So as a father, I'm instructing my daughter, give me the ticket. So this lady suddenly got stuck. On one hand, she cannot disobey her father. On the other hand, she don't want to have the sin of having this man die on her ship or in America. But then the father says so she has to follow the instruction. And so even if anything happens to him, at least she is not affected by the sin. But anyway, she had no choice, but she gave him the ticket. And then she told the captain to look after him carefully. 2 times he had an heart attack on the ship, and then he told Krishna, Krishna, I think if you give me one more heart attack, I will die anyway. Because normally 3 heart attacks you die. Anyway, it's up to you. You want to take me, you take me. You want to let me live, let me live. I leave it in your hands. So anyway, he didn't die. He went to America and he started going to the park. He stayed with a family, one husband and one wife. And then he used to go to the park and sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then there are some people were interested. Many of them were hippies, but they took it seriously, and then they started also believing in the philosophy and reading the scriptures until his movement became very huge. A lot of people. Even here you see George Harrison of the Beatles, a very famous name. He also became a devotee. So one day he went to Moscow. Even he went traveling all around the world teaching. One day he went Moscow and he, even though it's a communist country and they don't allow any preaching, somehow or another he managed to escape the scrutiny, and he met one boy and he talked to him for a few minutes only, and he convinced him to become Krishna conscious. And the boy became, and he started preaching all over Russia. Anyway, and then he also met many important people, and he printed the Back to Godhead magazine. And these are the number of books that he has printed. So many books. In 11 years, he built in America. And once from the time he left India until he left the body in Vrindavan, in 11 years, he got established 108 centers all around the world. And also he printed so many books. So this is the wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada. So Srimad Bhagavatam, if you win, you get a very special prize. You let me know if you're interested. It's 22 books. And if you want the Bhagavad Gita kit, it's 56 certificate. So thank you very much. I would just like to I request all of you to please join the class tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's on Damodara. It's a very informative class and very important class. It's the Deepavali month. So what you can do to please Krishna in this month. So basically how to do it and all that all will be explained tomorrow. The pastime also will be explained. And then if you got any questions after that, then on Wednesday you can ask me. I will explain. Okay? Any question so far on today's chapter or anything?